I think that when people see pictures of us together, or they are together, they are with us. And I think I've been shown by spirit, or told by spirit, that if people see pictures of us, it will help them also open up or something.
Yay.
So just to see that energy that we have together, I guess, is what it is. So so I wanted to share some pictures with everybody of just how happy we are, together. Just, I don't know, I think it's kind of a next level happiness,
And 3 cards. Twin flame need to be in unity with themselves, kind of goes with what you're talking about. So the question is, does twin flame need to be in unity with themselves in order to actually be with their twin flame? I'm wondering if that's why you actually got together later in life versus earlier.
I think so.
Right? Because you're growing up, and you did have a relationship with your ex-husband. You must have had worked through the feminine and masculine aspect then, and then you had children.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I feel has really come in handy that I learned while I was with my ex-husband, as a woman, I think this is an important thing. I believe men should do it too, and I do believe Ralph does this with me, which is tuning in to him and his what's going on with him today, sort of thing. And I think that's really important in relationships for both of you, to feel each other, not always ask, how are you? How was your day? Because we're not always honest. Right. So, it's gotten it's so automatic now with him, because I always did it with my ex-husband, because you're always trying to read their minds. I think women a lot of times do that. It's very automatic now with Ralph, because we've integrated, and I always just know already when he tells me something. It's like, I know, honey, I know that, whatever. He'll kind of look at me like, how do you know all that? I've already felt into it, because, it's just like any other relationship, you need to be continually inspired by each other. I think what it is with Ralph, like, he's like a great partner for me, because it really doesn't ever go to my head, but like, I can never do any wrong in his eyes. It is wonderful, because I really grew up like doubting myself, and I've just been hard on myself. Like, my parents were very hardcore, and I had that really negative inner voice, and he's really helped with that. And I know he has it too. I know he has that negative inner voice. I hope I'm as encouraging to him as he is to me.
I mean, because they always say like you got to work on yourself first in order to attract. And I'm like, oh my God. Because sometimes always like, until this person comes, then no.
No, I'm not a fan of like all those rules. I'm really not. Cool. Because I feel like, how do you really work on yourself when you're not with someone? Like, that's like the best time to work on yourself, is having like a patient counterpart to give you something to work with, That's otherwise, what are you doing? You're reading tarot cards and journaling. I don't know. I don't think you do a lot of growing. You don't do as much growing, basically, is what I'm getting at. I don't feel like we were like godly or any, sort of supreme thing for us to come into union. Physical union. Right. I really don't think we were. We were a hot mess, the two of us. We really were. And we've kind of blossomed into what we are now with each other. What do I want them to know?
Yeah.
Well, if they are a twin flame, and that's why they were drawn to this video, it's not necessarily like that you have to be hung up on this one person, that you need to be with that one person. I feel like you just use it the way, it's being presented to you, and don't get so stuck on someone that you think is your twin flame. So many theories in the twin flame community, but I have a pretty good friend from the twin flame community who's not in a relationship, but she actually felt as though she had several twin flames, and I've heard that before. So, right. And she's a pretty grounded, very spiritual person. So I don't think she was making it up. You know,
Right.
okay, so I have this thing about my life is that, you know, I've always been talking to Ralph, and Ralph's always been talking to me through spirit. But like, I feel like with my first husband, sometimes it was almost like he was Ralph. He was my twin flame in a way. I mean, I didn't know, thank God I didn't have all the confusion of it being a person. So I sort of used a lot of the things that I was learning in spirit with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And then I felt like that happened again with my I dated someone for 4 years after I got divorced and before I started dating Ralph. And I it's hard to explain, but like I kind of think I thought, is this the person that I've been talking to in spirit? Because there were so many things that he would say and do that were similar, almost verbatim. So it was almost like he was materializing inside of someone else. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you and I agree that we try a box thing. Maybe it's just
Right.
a progression
It's sort of an
thing.
open fluid kind of thing.
Not kind of fluid. So let's see what that looked like in a card. What did that
All
say?
right.
Let's see how
The twin flame energy can come through and in lots of relationships.
Yeah, something like that. Luckily I'm hearing, yeah, it's just different. It's a different thing for each person. And they keep telling me let go of the label. They mean my spirit guide.
Right. Story and I do think I'm creating a template for humanity.
Oh.
Not just me, but you know, all creating a new pattern for humanity. It is interesting how I felt his energy in other men that I was with.
Well, I probably they're all because we are all one, so they would have to be similar some way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it just happened that you end up with Ralph. I mean, maybe there are some people who just don't end up with
Right, and they're with their soulmate, and that can be very satisfying. I do believe my first husband was a soulmate.
Yeah, obviously had children,
right?
And,
we had like we definitely had a soul contract.
Yeah,
you know, to do
I mean,
what
you
we
were
did.
together for a long time.
23 years,
right?
I know. Yeah, from 15 to 38 or something.
Wow. So Six of Cups is like a soulmate card.
Okay.
So you were talking about like those guys were a soulmate of yours. You know, maybe it was just not meant for
I
the
think
long
so.
run.
I think both of them were. Yep. Before
And
Ralph was soulmate.
you know, it's funny. You were talking about breadcrumb, but stepping stone. They led you to Ralph. So you had to learn whatever from your husband. Then you learn something from your 4 year that they're going to be very similar. You know what I mean? And maybe if you didn't meet, like you were saying, Ralph, or you didn't end up with him because whatever, you would have been with this or somebody similar even between.
Yes,
Ralph
exactly
you know what I mean?
what I think. That's exactly what
And
I
it
think.
could be with your friend you were talking about how she feels like several. I don't know. But that comes but that's what's curious. Now, what the heck the devil have to do with anything? Look, here, this could be that whatever the negative thought, here you are hearing all that negative thought, the critical you know?
Yes.
So going with those guys, the guys you had previously, they help you to work through the past.
Definitely.
They help you to work through those critical, like you were very critical. Then each relationship changes, shifts, and then you go to Ralph. Ralph is you could be yourself. Yeah,
I think that's been a big part of like our success is just feeling that it took years of just to finally relax and say it's going to be okay. Like he's there, you know, like he's there for me. And then he probably thinks the same thing about me. Like she's not going anywhere after all of this that we've been through. Because you've already been with someone who didn't think everything you did was wonderful. So to have somebody think that everything is wonderful is very healing. It's very healing. Some of those were the templates that I had to go through was putting on an act, you know, trying to act like the perfect this, you know, or whatever. Like let those go. Like, you know, be more yourself. I want to do this sacred union thing right, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to shortcut it.
I mean, what about you guys that watching? Okay. So let's go back to
no shortcuts.
Well, I mean, okay, whether they're physically together or not, build a template. So without like,
This is
okay,
for the
so more
viewers. Like, I want to ask that question. Yeah. If, for the viewers or for someone like you, like, can you build a template without having your twin flame in your life?
about a twin flame or just like a higher love person?
Or a higher love?
Well, I mean, when you say template, is that like when people write a list what they want in a partner? Or
Nope.
it's a little different?
Like a template, the way I see it is like, we're creating, one of those Barbie things where you put the crayon on and you made a dress. We're creating the dress, and then everybody else can say, oh, that's how the dress is made. I'm going to also have a relationship like that.
So,
Did I explain that
okay,
well?
yeah. So it's like an energy thing. Like you're
A
creating.
template is what we're exactly. It's an energy that we're creating a wave.
So we can ask the cards.
So I want to know if like, I don't want to feel like I'm special. I want to know if other people out there can also do what I'm doing, even if they're just in soulmate relationships.
Well, I have what we could do because you had a solid relationship with your ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that template is a little different than the twin flame template? That's how we can know about whether, because if we didn't experience it, how can we build a twin flame template? So do you
Okay.
feel, you see what I'm saying? So like, you feel you could have created a template before you were really with Ralph?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so maybe that's part of the question.
So that is the question. Can it be done? Because
Who
I
have
don't think
not
the
been.
men I was with were very spiritual. I think because it really takes two to tango. So I don't,
My thing is just speaking with you. Why would I want a twin flame? Unless ego wise, I think, oh, that must mean that it's better than the soulmate and all that. The only reason why I desire it because I had experience of that, especially since I was young. Why would any of
yes.
you want to have twin flame? Could you think it's somehow better? See, that's where I will move. That's where we have to stop doing that. It's going to be better. It just is. You either have it or you're not, and it does not mean you're being left out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But can you create the same thing?
Why can't you just create a really great, harmonious relationship?
Spiritual though. It's a very
Spiritual.
spiritual. It's a very spiritual thing.
In 3 cards, would it be helpful to have Pamela to create a twin flame template? Yes or no, and then we'll go from there.
One, right? What's that one mean?
That could be a single person, good for the single people. Be a guidance, just kind of giving insight, but not being like the thing, just giving a little insight. It also could be like somebody who figure it out themselves. You figure it out. So I think you're just giving them guidance. You give a template, but it could be like the basic, and then they go from there.
What did we say with that one?
That's like the bullshit, like the defense card. So like, don't deal with, don't fall for that. Don't fall for this.
Oh.
Even the fact that you're saying, look, we still have stuff that we're learning from, because sometimes I have this ideal. I think it's kind of like if you're in enlightenment or whatever stage you're at, you're still going to be a person. You're still a spiritual being, and life will still happen. But it's like one of your things you keep saying is, we still have stuff. We're still learning from each other. That's very grounding, I feel, adding to the template.
Right. Right.
It's a little too idealistic sometimes, but it's not to take away the fact that it's really a beautiful energy that you're experiencing with him.
Right. Yeah, and I know of some twin flames that are not together, but they know that they're just so spiritual on a higher level that I can even fathom. They know that they will someday to be together, whether it's here or not, and they're almost this one particular person that I'm thinking about is you feel like you're talking to like God himself, like she's such divinity, like she has done so much healing, and she's not with her twin flame. But so I've often said, well, like, why am I with my twin flame when someone like that, who's so high up there that I would aspire to be, Isn't it? And I just think that him and I were meant to do this whole thing together, step by step, you know, and we've been together since 2 years old playing, you know.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
It
I
was
love
like
it.
it was that this was our path, you know.
Yeah.
So I do kind of think some twin flames are going to come together in the future. Like, I don't think it's over for them. I do.
But at the same time, you'd be like, just in case you don't know, if you still have a beautiful relationship come in, don't like
Don't
poo-poo it.
pass it up. Don't pass it up. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I say twin flames, but I only say twin flames because he told me he was my twin all those years ago in spirit. But I don't believe that it has to be put into a label. Just
But
like
you know, it's funny,
you know.
you got the high priestess. When you were told in spirit, that's before the whole twin flame thing was popular.
Yep.
So
Right.
that to me is
Right.
validating.
That is
Because
validating.
why would you make that up? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I never heard of twin flame until I saw it on a video.
Right.
But I had always seen twin energy. But I'm saying I would never, before it was popular, I would never heard that. The fact that you heard that, it proved to the card, listen to your intuition, which is the high priestess. That you would add to the template. You would be teaching people, or just even if you don't want to do the teaching, you're just sharing the video. It, you know, people have they're gonna get insight.
They're going to get their thing from their guide and their
Yeah.
situation. Absolutely.
That's a really good question. Okay.